Welcome to Paneloid's Comic Book Live Stream, the best place for your fix of comic book related news, rumors, leaks, reviews, and creator interviews. I'm your host, Pierre, with our producer, Kyle, and as you may notice, it's 9:30 in the morning Eastern Time. It is not a Wednesday, and it's all for a very, very good reason. With me today for this very special bonus episode, literally the coolest person in the whole goddamn world, Steph Phillips.
Hey, thank you for having me back.
Thank you
No
for
problem.
being willing, because we did such a great job before, and now we're live, so it's arguably worse.
Oh yeah. There's no editing; it's all raw, and we're just gonna hope for the best here.
Sounds great.
I might fumble up some words because I'm really just awake because of the energy drink. Otherwise, I'm very tired. So,
Yes.
but what are you gonna do? So let's start off with who the hell do you think you are? Writing banger after banger.
Apparently, Seamus.
Like you I don't know where you get off. It's
Yeah,
incredible though.
I know.
You really are having a phenomenal just career with this, and I love it. I'm here for it. But for real, for those who may not know you, tell us about your career in comics.
Sure. I started doing some independent work, book at Dark Horse, some stuff at Aftershock, and moved to DC for a while. Did like some short stories. I don't know that I ever really did a mini series. I did like a 2-issue Harley thing, and then was like asked pretty quickly, like, you want to take over the Harley ongoing? So it was quite the introduction to Big Two Comics to just be like, yeah, you're gonna go write an ongoing now. So that was that was quite a jump. I'm a co-founding member of Distillery Media, a new comic publishing initiative, and mostly over at Marvel now, writing Spider-Gwen and Phoenix.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to have you here personally. So I'm following, your comic book with Boom, which is a Grimm, which has been amazing. I read your Cap Wolf
That
book.
was fun.
Honestly, there's so many things that I'm sure you've seen the episodes, and people that watch us have seen it, but I give you so much praise. Like, there's so many like times where I think there was a Alien one-off I think that you did. There was a thing that you did too with Marvel.
Yep.
It was a What If Venom. What If Venom. Yeah.
That was dark. That was one of those things where it was like, I had 2 proposals for like how that ended, and I was like, they're gonna pick the like kind of more straightforward Marvel-y, like everything ends kind of okay, and they were like, let's lean into the other one, the one that's like super horrific and dark. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's that was unexpected.
Yeah, no, it was for anyone who hasn't picked that up, Jeff, definitely check that out. Today we're not here for that though. We are here for 2 special books, so I'll let Kyle get on that for us.
I did wear a Springsteen shirt just because you're probably the only one that is as nuts as I am. And obviously Grimm is probably my favorite book of yours just because of the quotes that happen to pop up more than once. But yeah, we're not here for that. We're here for new books that are coming out and have recent FOC dates. So this is very important. Very, very important, because we read them both. And I was so impressed with the first one. And then I clicked the link and I read the second one. And I was like, holy shit.
I hope in like a good way. I don't know.
Yes, it was a good way. It just was like,
man. She finally wrote something that's like awful. Man, now I have to do an interview.
No, this was was even more up my alley. You haven't missed yet, and then it was like, well, now you've hit the exact genre of my favorite. So let's start with the latter. Red Before Black. Just a quick synopsis, and we'll ask a few questions on it.
Yeah. So Red Before Black is about Val, who's a disgraced army veteran or dishonored, who gets out of prison and goes looking for a job from an old army friend, who is kind of working in a drug organization in Florida. And she's kind of given a task, like, if you want to work for this place, for us, you have to kill this woman, Leo, who started stealing product from us. And it kind of turns into slightly a cat and mouse game of her going to kill Leo, but meeting Leo and like what their interaction is like together. And it's kind of also I'm using it as like an exploration of Florida, really, which is where I'm from. And I think Florida is super weird, but like not even in the way that I think it gets portrayed a lot in media. Like there's weirder. There's like more in Florida than I think people even realize, like not just theme parks or like, yes, swamps or alligators or things like that, but like there is a huge commune of psychics. Like one of the largest in the US is in Florida. It's called Casadega. So obviously we're going there. There's mermaids. There's like these cool, I don't even know if cool is the right word, but like weird side of the road, like alligator attractions. One of my favorite things is always the rest stops when you're driving that are like, we have baby gators in the rest stop, like come get gas and also see gators. And it's, yeah. So like using a lot of these things that are normalized to me, having grown up here, and realizing that that is something that I don't think gets showed off a lot about the state, that gets like, those stereotypes are often true and they exist for a reason, but there's also this like really weird mix of things here. I haven't done anything with it in the book, but there's also this whole area of Florida that's just like old carny town, like people that used to work at a carnival that just like all, it might be disbanded now, but for a long time, like especially in the 90s, that was like a big thing. It was like, this is where ex-carnival workers all go to live, like some kind of what's that horror show that's on television where
American Horror Story.
It's like a weird American Horror Story like town. So yeah. So that was kind of where that came from. There, you know, Florida is its own character in the book, and then kind of the backdrop is this, like, does Val kill Leo? And then there's a lot of other players that kind of enter that want one or both of them dead for different reasons. So very much crime. There's also some magic realism built in that I thought was really fun to write.
You just taught me a lot about Florida that I didn't know. Yeah, you're right when they say like they don't really show that off at all. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I wasn't sure if we were talking about the book or just Florida in general. I'm like, oh my god, this is just life. That's crazy. But that's cool.
That stuff will make its way into the book, and it does, and it's all stuff that's like, you know, places I've been or things like that. For some of the Casadega stuff, I want to do even more. Like, I mean, I feel like it's become a very experience-based book where I'm like, well, if they're going to go spend time in Casadega, like I know what it is, I've driven through, but I've never like gone and made the appointments and like sat down with the psychics or stayed at like, they have like a little place you can stay when you go visit Casadega. And it's like, I haven't done that. So I think I need to do that before I like wrap this up, and also give Goran some reference photos.
That's actually really cool to like actually like put those experiences into it and kind of, I don't know, it's like almost what's the thing called when like actors method acting? It's like almost method acting, right? But with writing. So that's awesome. Is Val inspired by anyone in your life, or like where do you come up with her?
A mix, yeah. Val's actually, that's an interesting question. So Val, where the magic realism comes in is really largely with Val. She's experiencing like hallucinations of a forest or like a jungle that she kind of gets transported to in moments of high tension and crisis. And for me, that was like, how do you show a panic attack? And it's kind of like expanding on the visual side of comics and saying like, well, this is how Val has a panic attack, and it's been happening to her. It's getting worse. And we're kind of exploring some of the reasons why she's having that. She is an Army veteran. I am talking a lot about PTSD. And then in order to bring in that side of it, we do have a consult on the book who is a former special service member, and so he has been like, even before I started writing, like outlines everything. He's been really active. He's also talks a lot about his own service experience and about trauma and PTSD, and has been very open in helping me put that into Val's character. So yeah, he's definitely inspired a lot about her unit, about even tattoos. Like, all of those details have come from somebody that really genuinely lived it. And some of Val's experiences are, you know, from spending hours with this person talking to me about being overseas, and being able to kind of translate those into like giving Val some of those character moments. So yeah, he should have a special credit in the book, I believe, somewhere. Maybe it's in the trade or something, but yeah, he's been working very closely with us on that. And so as much as I feel like Val is maybe a combination of me and the Army stuff coming from our really wonderful consultant Kosuke. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I instantly grabbed onto her character, and I love everything that you've done with her. And there's a lot of levels to the book already. I mean, it's just issue 1, and I'm already like, all right, like all these things are happening. It's very cool, and I'm glad that you kind of elaborated a little bit on kind of what she's going through, because a lot of people, you might pick it up, or you might just see the cover, you might not realize how much you're really getting out of this. Like that whole, I guess, panel, that whole, like, it was a page. It was just crazy. Like, to like go through that, I was like, wait, what just happened? And then like we're back. I'm like, oh, like, so very, very cool. I love the art. It felt like a movie. Like, even like I like the little font like that you did with like each like.
That started to come later. I did one caption like while writing it, because and a part of it was like me just being snarky in the script. Like, I was editorializing while writing, like oh, I don't know when Miles is going to be here, and then my own in the script I would write something like he totally does, or like, you know, like editorializing the characters being liars or inconsistent and things like that. And after we got the first lettering pass, I don't know why I looked at it with the script and I was like, what if we just put my weird editorial comments I wrote like in the script? Like, why don't we just
That's awesome.
use them? I was like, who says we can't? You know, I think it started even with like explaining the poem Red Before Black. Like, that's me. That's, you know, my own editorial, like weird, like hand of God in this book. So maybe a little Tarantino, I guess, but it's, it made it, I think, a lot more fun to then be like, well, I was doing those editorial comments anyways, and now when I'm writing the script, I get to like think about them even more. Like, I get to call my own characters liars and idiots and make fun of them, and also love them in like a cool way. So yeah, that's I'm glad that they were on board with that. I was like, well, let's just see how it looks, and then all the editors were like, yes, let's keep those. So it was good.
Yeah, no, very, very good. That's one of my favorite parts, honestly. Just as,
it feels like a movie, though.
Yeah,
like you really got that, like, Pierre. It really feels like a movie. But let's go into the creative team a little bit and the variants. And while you kind of talk about them and that, I'll kind of pop them up, and hopefully it's a relevant one as you explain.
Yeah, Goran Suzuko on artwork, which is like huge get. This is Goran's cover, cover A for issue 1. Goran, I mean, I don't know. I feel like all of us are fans of Goran and have been. Like, how could you not be with the work he's done in his career? So I feel like that was a really big get. Like, I asked for Goran, and initially there was some like, we're not sure we could get Goran, and I have to say, like, Boom really made that happen, and I'm really excited about that, because I was like, I think Goran is the right fit for this, and I was correct. Goran is absolutely the right fit for this book. Ives for Sina, which, sorry, I've never heard Ives' last name out loud, but Ives coloring, amazing. Tom on letters, again, like he letters Grimm, and he's just fantastic. So we had him back as well. Dave Johnson on variant covers, which is Dave's my go-to for variants for a good reason, because these covers are fantastic that he's been doing. I think he's done 4 out of 6 so far, and they are, yeah. Number 2 might be like my personal favorite, but they're all fantastic. Yeah, and Cliff Chang, like that's so good. I hover on my phone between like two different variant covers. Like right now, it's because the Danny cover just came out yesterday. I've like got Danny's cover on my phone, and then when I'm feeling like it, I switch back to the Cliff cover. So it's I like the variants a lot for this book.
Yeah.
I'm all in on the artwork and the artists that we got. It was like Gory and I gave a list and we said these are the people we want to work with, and again, Boom went and made all of that happen. So really, really pleased that they like kind of saw that we had an idea and they helped facilitate it. Yeah, and the Miami Vice cover is pretty cool too.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I from Grimm, all like the different variants from that book to this,
I have like 90% of
you're,
it. I know.
you're gonna make us very poor. You're gonna make us very, very poor very quickly. that's the problem with these covers and the team that you got around you. So kudos to you. But moving on, we got to read issue number 1 of Life. Can you give us the synopsis for that?
Sure. It started with the concept of if you were given multiple life sentences, most people don't serve 30 life sentences because that's thousands of years. You can't actually serve that sentence. So we were like, but what if you could? Like, what if there was in the future a way that prisoners with multiple life sentences are forced to live out all of those? And it's kind of this idea of like so many people want immortality. There are all these stories of like the Holy Grail or the Fountain of Youth, whatever it is, you are searching for immortality, and they are using immortality on prisoners, and it is horrific. It is, nobody wants that. Like they are still aging, they're experiencing disease. You've got like prisoners on this planet that have been alive for 300 years and have lost their mind completely, both from pain or disease, dementia, things like that. So it's pretty horrific, but they are also the worst of the worst. So you have the worst prisoners imaginable, people that were getting multiple life sentences. And according to the data, that's all men. So it is a prison planet full of men. Sorry. So but that was something I really wanted to like represent those statistics. And in writing these characters, not a single one of them is a good person. They're all prisoners that have been served these life sentences. But we're also asking the question of like, once you see what that looks like, hundreds of years of them living out these sentences, is that justice? Like, has justice actually been served in this instance? What does that look like? So that's where we started with the story. And then we entered into like kind of we were like, how do we want to show it? And we had like kind of a heist format. So we have half of the book is a heist of these people coming to this prison planet. They didn't know about the experiment, so they thought everybody on this planet was dead. Turns out they're not. There are these like monstrous criminals still living on this planet. And from the criminal perspective, now they see like after hundreds of years, we may have a way off the planet. So from one side, it's a prison break. From the other, it's a heist. And the two sides start to interlock the more the story goes on. Yeah.
I'm super, super excited about this one. I don't know if it's like the immortality thing with the or just the high sci-fi. It's just so cool. It's so cool. So with that, again, not only can you go over the creative team and the variants too, but is there anything that kind of inspired this story to kind of, because it's complex. There's a lot going on. So it's just anything that kind of might have inspired it, and then I'll start popping up pictures again.
Yeah, so I'm co-writing it with Brian Azzarello, and it started with an idea I had for a prison planet that I was kind of like working on and was talking to him about, like, here are these things that I think might be cool. And then he started being like, well, I once had this idea for a prison planet thing, and these are the ideas I thought were cool. And then we started realizing like we have like two halves of maybe one story, like that might be the way to approach this, which is like to take both of those concepts and say like, how do they interact? Like, what is that going to look like? And also, if you have two writers, I really think it's important that you have a way to showcase those two writers instead of just being like, our names are both on the cover. It's like, here's what Brian is bringing to it, and here's what I bring to it. And I think you kind of see that throughout the book too. Though I thought that, and I even had like Dave Johnson, after he read the first issue, like, you know, Brian and I switch the parts we write. We do some call and response and things like that. And we're not putting a name to any specific page of like, this was a Brian page, or this was a, like, we're kind of doing it very puzzle format together. So it's really all of us, though I did find it funny, like when Dave Johnson read the first issue, he picked out certain things and he's like, oh, Brian wrote this and this and this. And I was like, actually, I wrote that. so maybe the voices are like kind of mixed up more than we thought, which is good, because we also kind of have been doing a thing where if any one page or scene or something, we're like, oh, that sounds so Brian, then like I kind of take it on and like add to it and do something with it. So kind of figuring out the process of how to write has been really fascinating. Like I've never worked this way, but it's very much like building a puzzle with somebody. Every time we start a new issue, like we sit down together with like notepads and just go through like all the things we want to have in it, and then see like how can we cause more like interlapping of those scenes, like which scenes are you going to take, which am I going to take, how are they going to build on each other. And it's like a mental exercise, and I like puzzles, so it's very fulfilling for me to work that way, and also listen to the way that like somebody else like Brian constructs characters and stories is really cool. So. And then of course on art, Daniel Giselle, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Daniel Giselle, there we go, nailed it early for Z's. Daniel on artwork. Daniel is someone Brian has worked with before, and was, you know, Brian was like, I really want Daniel, and I was like very trustful of, you know, Brian wants this person, looked at his work, and of course I know some of it from stuff like Scalped and things like that. So I was like, I think that would be a really, really cool look for the story, especially the sci-fi elements. So yeah, Daniel's been really, really wonderful to work with. Lee Lowridge on colors. I love working with Lee, so it's nice to have him on a book too. Yeah, the variants have been lots of variants, and they're all pretty cool too. I like seeing everybody's take on it, like giving these creators all the material for the book and seeing what they want to draw is pretty cool. Yeah, the jock cover's great.
I really found so many, and I was like, are there more?
Yes.
And then there was, but they're all crazy. I think this one's my favorite.
Oh yeah, the Dave Johnson one, yeah. And the book flips, so every creator is doing two covers. They're doing a cover for, we're calling them pros and cons. So like we're calling half of the story pros and half cons. Cons for us is like the prison side, and the pros are the thieves, who are like professional heist people, professional thieves, who decide like their biggest score yet is to rob a planet. Like this prison planet has been sitting there for hundreds of years, abandoned, they think, and its initial purpose was to mine resources, and that included things like ore, a mineral composition very close to what we would consider a diamond, basically, which would be worthless on that planet. But if the thieves are able to get in and like get these basically diamonds, that could make them a bunch of money on Earth. So they think that this stuff is just sitting there. Like the prisoners are dead, the warden's dead, like all the prison guards are dead. There's just resources sitting there for them to steal. Like the easiest heist ever, in and out, rob the planet. And they show up and there are monstrous undead prisoners, basically, that like can't die until their sentences are up. And not only prisoners, but like the worst of the worst. But that also meant constructing the worst of the worst for the time period. So not just like this person was a serial killer, but some of these people are, we have a character named Nexus, who like I wanted to kind of show more of the sci-fi side of crimes. So like he hacked into like essentially a digital food bank and put in corrupted code that killed thousands of people that were eating the food, and it was supposed to be like a protest. So yeah, there's stuff kind of taking what's going on now and adding those sci-fi elements. So some of it's recognizable. There are serial killers. Most of them are all based on some kind of real life thing going on. One of our main characters is a reverend who killed his whole family to attain enlightenment, and then he couldn't pull the trigger on himself when it came time to do that. So yeah, there's there's a lot of very weird, gray, difficult characters to kind of, I guess, not latch onto. You don't latch onto them; they're awful. But yeah, but
Dark.
creating them and creating that cast was a lot of fun.
I love that. I love the fact that, like you're saying, like you have like all these different little elements and this time periods of, I don't know, it's going to be a sick blend. And I feel like everyone needs to hop on this. So again, another book that's going to make me very poor. So, but that I'm excited.
Thank you.
Based off of Red Before Black and Life, I guess both books, what would you say you're most excited for readers to experience?
I think they are both kind of different directions for me writing. Like, I think I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what feels best for me to write. And really, I keep coming back to crime. And even though Life has a lot of these sci-fi elements, it's still a crime story, and it's still looking at a side of crime that honestly I haven't seen anybody look at, that kind of blend of criminal justice and immortality and those themes. There's also a lot of religious themes in it. So even though it is a kind of high concept sci-fi story, it still feels like at its core it's a realistic crime thriller, which I think is kind of what I keep coming back to now. Same with Red Before Black. It's a crime story. And I think that's where, I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm working on is crime right now. And I guess, man, too bad Vertigo's not around. We would have been good friends. But yeah, I think I'm kind of finding what works the best for me as a writer, and really wanting to improve that element or find new ways to play with crime stories that I haven't seen before.
That's scary. It's scary to know that you found your element here, and you've already done things so well before. So like for you to like just be like, oh, I'm tapping in now, is everyone be scared. Like this is Stephanie Phillips at her best. So
And the research too, you probably would be very good at committing an actual crime at this point. So should be scared on that point.
I can't even like I look at a police officer and I start like crying, like, oh my God, did I accidentally like put a gun in my pocket or something? And it's like, no, I don't own a gun. But like on the off chance I did, I'm like terrified. Like I'm the person going through TSA, like shaking, like, no, like there's literally nothing but like chapstick in my bag. But I'm like, what if a bomb dropped in? Like, oh no.
I put a fake pig nose in my my fiance's bag. So we're going to Alaska. There's like a pig nose. I don't know if they're gonna stop or anything, but I can't wait for them to open her bag. But
no,
keep going.
Like, lights in Grand Theft Auto. Like I think Dave Johnson could tell you, like we used to like play that game, and it would drive him. He would start yelling, like, "Why are you stopping?" Or like, "Why are you having a panic attack?" And I'm like, "Because the cops are chasing me." He's like, "That's the game. Like, play the game." And I'm like, tearing, like freaking out, playing this video game. I'm like, "It's a red light," and he's like, "You're a criminal." So no, I would not be a good criminal. I would be quite awful at it.
That's funny. So this is actually one of my favorite questions, but with both Red Before Black and Life, let's imagine they both got picked up for a studio deal, like, you know, it's either movie, TV deal, whatever it is, you decide. Can you fan cast some of your characters?
I think I would just have Taylor Swift play everyone, all of them. It would sell. Like,
good answer.
You're not wrong.
Does it have anything to do with the story? No, but it would be watched. So, maybe get like Air Bud in there. I think people would watch an Air Bud and Taylor Swift collab. That is the fan cast that would make money, is kind of where I'm going with that. But no, I don't know. There's really no personal reference that was given for any of those characters. The closest is for Leo's haircut in Red Before Black. One of the references that Goran and I looked at was there's a a goaltender who plays in the PWHL, and she has like this her name's Carly, I think it's Carly Jackson, something like that. She's awesome looking. Like her hair is crazy cool. It's like this blonde mullet, and she became the basis for Leo's hair, because we were like, how like mullets are kind of coming back, not for me, but like I couldn't rock that. That doesn't look good for me. But like we were looking at references, like what does a modern day mullet on a woman look like? And yeah, so that, I mean, that's the closest we got to like using a real person for inspiration for any of the characters. But yeah,
Works. She's a cool character. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get the Taylor Swift thing. We actually put Taylor Swift in last night's episode title just for clickbait. We didn't really have anything about it. All right, so let's begin to wrap this up here. You could give us the FOCs for both books,
Sure.
The release dates, anything else related that people will need to know because they need to go and pre-order both books.
Yeah, FOC for both books is July 15th, which I think is Monday. And Red Before Black comes out August 7th, and Life comes out, I think it's August 24th. So, both August releases, which is a big August month.
Sorry, I was just commenting in the chat real quick. Someone was asking who you were, so letting them know. They just
how do you not know?
Yeah.
God damn it. Unfollow us.
You'll know her from her work, if anything. So look up her work when you get a chance.
Oh, what is this? Is there like a thumb on your screen? What is that?
Where did that come from?
I don't know, but you saw that too, right?
I did. That was
Yeah.
cool. Did you do that, Pierre? Are you pushing buttons? I
didn't do anything.
It's like it looks on my thumb. I don't know how it did that. Wow.
I feel. Is Dimitri still here? Is he behind the scenes?
No, he left me
ghost.
now. I got no backup.
I have no idea. How did I don't know. I have a hitchhiker's thumb, so I don't know. Oh, look.
Oh.
Whoa. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. That's cool.
You might have better software than us.
I don't know. I'm not sure I like it, but it's something to know. I know everything.
Now I want to see what hand gestures you can get.
Learn it.
Stephanie Phillips, please let us know of any other projects you'd like to mention. Anything you're working on that you'd like to hint at. Let the people know.
Phoenix #1 drops next week, I think, which is pretty big release, so excited for that one. That's gonna be a cool, I think, ongoing. Really glad I get to be a part of the new X-Men line. So
yeah,
that's very exciting.
Yeah, top of the list. Another one, top of the list. Very cool.
And for everyone who'd like to get to know you, where can everyone follow you?
Instagram is SnapCrackleSteph, like Rice Krispie treats, and X, or Twitter, because X is a stupid name and I don't want to call it that, is Steph_Smash, like Hulk.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to see you again.
Yeah.
I owe you a new T-shirt. Nice. When we do see you at a convention, you doing New York this year? All right. So I will have a new T-shirt for you because we've updated the logo like 7 times since then.
Wow.
So,
okay. Brand new.
So, yep. Time for a new shirt. But again, thank you. It's been so great, like, to see your career go from like here to like just I can't even find it anymore. Like
when you do, let me know, because I'm a little scattered, but
so many cool things you're doing. It's just also impressive. I love all of it. Pierre, do you want to also just be a mush for a second? Because
I'll be.
I want everyone
via Venmo, so I appreciate it. Just make sure you drop your PayPal, Venmo, whatever.
I will tag it all.
I want everyone to know that low-key this whole time I was super nervous. My hands are sweaty. I am a big little fangirl of you. So This whole time I've been fangirling this whole time.
That's why it's 9:30 in the morning. That's why this happened this way, because I couldn't leave behind here.
No, that's great.
I was so nervous. But I'm so glad you're here with us, and I'm so glad you gave us the shot. We love you. We love you, Steph, so much.
Yeah, I love you guys. I think it's still one of my favorite little interview clips, Kyle, when you were asking about like superpower, and the only thing I could think of was like going to hell, like what's her name from Teen Titans, and I just remember you looking at me like, that's what you want to do? A portal to hell? Like you could do so many things. Like, I was on the spot. Portal to hell was the first word association that came out.
I still don't quite get it, but I still love it. So
it's interesting, at least, like, you know, more so than telekinesis or something. Like, seems an obvious answer,
that's
but
right.
yes, that has occasionally, that clip gets sent to me as like, why did you say this? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Kyle asked me the same thing. Why did you say this? So I appreciate that you still have me back after giving you a weird answer. So
no, I love the weird answers, and the next time we will fill the interview with just weird questions.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah,
that'll be all it is. That's it. All right. Well, I'm going to let you get back to work.
Cool.
I'm going to get back to work. Don't tell anybody. And you have a plane to catch, so thank you again.
I gotta go.
Yeah, no, you do. So I'm gonna, one by one, end all the live.
Thank you.
Cool.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for being